Hello, welcome to Teacher Communications. This video will demonstrate how to use the Teacher Communications platform and increase your community engagement. As with all of Blackboard solutions, Teacher Communications is hosted on AWS, giving it 99.999% uptime. The platform also uses the same robust delivery system as mass notifications, averaging over 7 million messages sent per day. To access Teacher Communications, head to your district's Community Engagement Headquarters and then log in with the teacher's credentials. Now, let's create a message. We start by typing a subject. We'll use a simple field trip reminder. Now, select our recipients. Now, this is where Teacher Communications really shines. Notice that the class rosters are pre-populated based on the SIS data. So, if this field trip is for my Period 3 World History class, I can select this group automatically and have the students and their parents listed as recipients. Next, let's create a quick message. The modes available to you are determined by your system administrators. Here we see all of the options with email, text, and phone calls, plus the ability to push notifications to the Blackboard Mobile Communications app. For our email, we'll write, "Dear parents and students, please remember that closed-toe shoes are required for the field trip. Sincerely, Mrs. Hopkins." Now, for our text message, let's keep it even simpler. From Mrs. Hopkins, don't forget closed-toe shoes are required for the field trip. Onto our phone call. Let's say we just want to copy the message that we just typed into our text. I can use the icon in the bottom right and copy over the same text that I've already typed. And we can do the same for our mobile app. And just like that, I've made a message to go across email, text, phone calls, and pushes to the Blackboard Mobile Communications app, and we made that message in less than 3 minutes. Next, let's look at some of the other specific features to make your experience even better. Heading over to that recipients list, you might have noticed I have my classes pre-populated, but I also have a groups section. Within the groups, I can have customized organizations or teams such as the French Club, the mountain bike team, or the student council. These can be built by the teacher from the teacher's contact list or by the administration. I can also search for individual students, such as Lucas Miller. And this brings me to another one of my favorite parts about Teacher Communications. As a teacher, I often know all of my students by name, but I don't often know who the proper parent contacts are. Teacher Communications will nest the parent contacts under the students so that I don't have to remember. Now, if you don't necessarily remember the student's name, but you do remember which class that they're in, you can search for individual students and their parents within each class roster. Next, let's look at the start time. I can schedule this message to go out at a later date, or if this is a message I want to send repeatedly, I can schedule it out so that it has more than one delivery date. Under languages, you'll have the same 108 unique languages that mass notifications can translate into, but the ones that you see in your system are the ones that have been selected by your district. What this tells me is that 1% of my students or parents have requested to receive their message in Spanish. If I would like to send the message in Spanish for those students and parents, all I have to do is click the language and you'll see the translation happen immediately. And now when I send this message, 99% of my selected recipients will get this message in English, and that 1% will get it in Spanish. Let's look at the customizations you can make within a message. You'll notice on my email and my mobile app pushes, I have an attachments option. So if I wanted to attach an image from the school field trip, maybe it's a picture of the location where we're going, I can attach that image to my email. I could also do the same in the mobile app. Within both of these platforms, you also have a WYSIWYG editor, which means what you see is what you get, where I can change this text to bold it or change the font size and customize the message with attachments or links. On my phone call, I can record it with my own audio, or I can use the text-to-speech option. And finally, if you are creating newsletters for your students, we have an email template included for the mobile app and for our emails. Here in the outbox, this will show you any messages that you have scheduled to deliver. And most importantly, under message tracking, this will record every message that you've sent and whether or not it was successfully delivered. Importantly, your administrators also have access to this message tracking report so that they can see how you're using the system as well. Speaking of the administration, let's go back into our Messages tab. We already mentioned how the class rosters are pre-built based on your SIS data, but your groups might include students that aren't in your class roster, such as the student council. When your administrators build a group for you, you'll be given access to those particular students. But the really great thing about this platform is that teachers won't accidentally contact students or parents that they don't really have any interactions with. Administrators can also create saved messages for teachers. So if you want to standardize the messaging around class behavior and create a standardized cell phone policy message that records the modalities chosen and the content of those messages, you can. Another tool that I love about this system is that as a teacher, I can feel free to send a text message or a phone call to my parents or students without giving away any of my personal information. Lastly, teachers can do everything that we've shown here from their mobile device using the BBCom HQ app. This app will allow teachers to log in and have access to the entire messaging platform. They can view their message tracking, they can access the saved messages, or they can create a new message, sending to the same platforms we have on the desktop with the ability to change the language or delay the start time. Thank you for watching this video of Blackboard Teacher Communications. If you have any questions, please contact your Blackboard account team. We look forward to being your partner in change.